Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that's honestly a total game changer, the high-performance mindset. We're going to unpack how the world's most extraordinary thinkers achieve so much more, not just by grinding on their external skills, but by completely mastering their internal engine. Now, you might think a mindset like this is just strictly reserved for elite athletes or, corporate billionaires, but we're going to see exactly how it's actually a completely trainable psychological posture, one that lets absolutely anyone authentically express their ultimate potential.
So let's jump right in and tackle a massive misconception right off the bat. Have you ever wondered how extraordinary thinkers achieve more? We constantly watch these elite performers and kind of mistakenly assume they possess some hidden biological advantage. Right? Picture a CEO just delivering this flawless, high-stakes pitch to a room full of skeptical investors without even breaking a sweat. Or a marathon runner effortlessly gliding up a brutal incline at mile 20. We watch them and we think, man, how are they doing that? We naturally assume they've got this genetic gift, some hidden secret code that the rest of us just literally do not possess. We tell ourselves that flawless performance is exclusively for the naturally gifted.
Which brings us to Section 1, the high-performance myth.
See, the myth tells us it's all about genetics, that high performance is purely about being the absolute best in the world simply because you were born that way. But the reality? The reality is completely different. It's a trainable psychological posture. And because we deeply misunderstand this, we waste so much time just fixating on the scoreboard and outer achievements, we completely ignore the internal engine, the actual machine running in the background, which, again, is entirely trainable. We obsessed over the external results while totally neglecting the internal posture that actually drives the whole shebang.
Let's move on to Section 2, the autopilot trap.
Here's the thing. When you operate on autopilot, your unchecked accidental thoughts actually turn into permanent cognitive patterns. Really think about that for a second. If you aren't intentionally steering your thoughts, your mind is just soaking up all the noise around you. That fleeting accidental thought of, oh, I'm not cut out for this, or this is just way too hard, well, it matters deeply. When you leave your mind set up to chance, those random accidental thoughts solidify. They pour right into the foundation of your brain and harden into permanent patterns that literally define your reality.
Over time, these negative patterns take total control. They quietly dictate how you view the world around you and completely alter how you handle letdowns. They seep into your life, affecting the quality of your relationships. And the crazy part, even if you spend thousands of hours perfecting your physical skills, your business strategies, or your art, these unchecked patterns will actually block you from using those skills when adversity hits. You could be an absolute master at what you do, but if your internal foundation can't support the weight of a high-stakes moment, your own mind will cause you to crumble under pressure. It actively blocks your hard-earned abilities right when you need them most.
Listen to this absolutely profound quote from elite performance psychologist Dr. Michael Gervais. If there are limits to the human experience, we are far from them. There is so much more inside of us. When I first read this, it literally gave me chills. It's such a powerful reminder that we are merely scratching the surface of our capabilities here. The limits we feel are often completely self-imposed by those accidental thought patterns we were just talking about. There's this immense reservoir of potential inside of you just waiting to be tapped.
Okay, let's look at Section 3, defining high performance.
So what is a high-performance mindset? Well, it isn't a hack or a quick trick. It's defined as the ability to create the most optimized, authentic internal posture for you to be your absolute best for a specific challenge. Think of it kind of like tuning a highly complex instrument before a major concert. You aren't tuning it to play every song in the world. You have to tune it specifically for the exact piece of music you're about to play. In psychology, a general mindset involves your cognitive processes and beliefs. But a high-performance mindset, that's incredibly specific. It's about organizing your inner world so you can conquer your outer life. It's not about just copying some billionaire's morning routine. It's about authentic optimization for your unique self. Now, according to elite psychologists, humans can actually only train 3 things in life: your craft, your body, and your mind. Yet somehow, most people entirely neglect that third crucial bar. Think about it. How many hours did you spend at the gym or perfecting a work project this week versus how many minutes you spent actively training your mind? We spend countless hours practicing our craft. We diet, we lift weights, we obsess over our physical bodies. But the mind, the very engine that dictates how effectively we use our craft and our bodies, we just leave it to chance. And that has to stop today.
Which leads us to Section 4, the 3 core pillars.
To build your optimized internal posture, there are 3 core psychological principles, or pillars, you really need to invest in right now: mindfulness, self-discovery, and mental skills.
And look, these aren't just trendy buzzwords. This is a highly clinical framework used by the absolute best in the world to ensure their mind is working for them, not against them. So let's break down exactly how you can implement these steps.
Pillar 1 is mindfulness. This serves as the absolute foundation for everything else. Without mindfulness, you're basically operating blind. The rest of the framework simply collapses because, well, you can't fix what you can't see, right?
You have to pay attention to your inner world on purpose, and this is key, identify those negative autopilot thought loops without judging them. Let me really emphasize on purpose and without judging. Most of us let our thoughts run wild, and when we finally do notice a negative thought, what do? We get mad at ourselves for having it. We beat ourselves up. But that judgment, it just adds more fuel to the fire. Mindfulness is simply stepping back, observing the loop, and realizing it's happening, because awareness is the essential prerequisite to change.
Okay, so now that you can see your thoughts without judging them, Pillar 2 demands that you know exactly where to steer them. This is self-discovery, and this requires deep, unshakable clarity about your guiding principles.
As legendary football coach Pete Carroll notes, there is nothing more important than knowing who you are, where your center is, and what you stand for. Knowing your authentic self allows your thoughts, words, and actions to align perfectly so you can weather any storm. When you face adversity, if you don't have a center, you're going to be violently blown over by the wind of circumstance. But when you know exactly what you stand for, your decisions become crystal clear, your reactions become deeply intentional, and your performance stabilizes, no matter how chaotic the storm gets around you. Now for a somewhat hilarious but very serious reality check. Could you write down your personal life philosophy in 25 words or less right now? If I handed you a pen, could you do it? Or would you just stare blankly, like I asked you to do advanced calculus? Most people would just stare blankly. We literally spend more time planning our weekend itineraries than we do drafting the philosophy that governs our lives. And if you can't articulate your principles, you certainly aren't living by them when the pressure is on.
So, now that you've got your foundation of awareness and your compass of self-discovery, Pillar 3 is where the rubber really meets the road. This is about actively developing your mental skills.
And this is where we completely destroy the ultimate lie. The lie that confidence, calm, and deep focus are just genetic traits you're born with. They absolutely aren't. The truth is, they are highly specific skills you can systematically train. Just like you can go to the gym to build a physical muscle, you can train your brain. People look at someone bursting with confidence and assume they were just born that way. Nope, entirely false. Confidence is a skill. It's exactly like a tennis serve or a golf swing. It requires repetition, proper technique, and deliberate, focused practice.
People who excel in life perform well consistently, simply because they know how to consistently think well. They command their mind to do it. They don't just wake up hoping they feel confident today. They generate that confidence through the mental skills they've actively built. By generating confidence internally, they control the narrative, which means they control their performance, entirely regardless of external circumstances.
It is time to stop leaving your mental state to chance. You've got to start treating your mind like a muscle that needs a daily workout using these structured steps. Here's your daily regimen from now on. Practice mindfulness daily to pay attention to your inner world without judgment. Write down your personal philosophy so you know exactly what you stand for. And treat your confidence like a muscle through deliberate repetition. This is exactly how you take back control of your internal engine.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I want to leave you with a provocative final question to kickstart your own high-performance mindset journey today. What is one core belief or guiding principle that makes up your personal philosophy? Seriously, don't just gloss over this. Take out a piece of paper right now and write it down. Define that guiding principle, start training your mind with the exact same intensity you train your body and your craft, and just watch how it completely transforms your world. I'll see you in the next explainer.